We are live. Say hello, everybody.
Welcome back to that. Welcome to Vampires and Vitae. Thank you so much for joining us at our table. As we normally do, we're going to throw it over to Tyler. He gives a little bit of background about what we did the week before, and he's going to get a little bit more comfortable with Mr. Roger.
Oh, yeah, I'm off camera. Hello.
Yes, you are. It's like your hallmark at this point.
Well, because the microphone is set up here, so I just do the thing.
Just move the microphone.
You move the microphone.
You can see if you're in frame or not.
You know what? I'll be
Come
in my trailer.
You are a big boy.
I can't wait to have that problem.
This is in my contract.
Yeah, where's Tyler?
I don't move. I don't
trailer.
touch microphones. It's in my contract. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
God.
I cannot wait to explain that.
I can't touch electricity when I'm in character.
Gross.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis. Okay.
It's a real
I read by
thing.
candlelight.
It's a real thing.
Okay.
I
Howdy.
have those problems.
Why don't you go ahead and dust off them boots, hang up that coat, and put that piece to the side. Sit down while I spin you a yarn.
Yeah.
Are we actually broadcasting? Because he just did that really well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
not.
No, it's
Okay.
on. It's
Yeah,
on.
probably not.
There's audio and everything this time, so we're good.
Are we actually okay? We're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
So last week we had a couple of different things happening. Alister was with Rose for a lot of the time. Went to the front of the church, and while that was happening, as we made our way back to the graveyard to bury Daisy, Rusty was talking with the preacher. Seems like a nice guy. Unfortunately, both Alister and Rose don't really fuck with the church. We have folkloric banes, so it's kind of difficult. It's like being in a pressure chamber for Alister. Feels like his head's going to explode, kind of, you know. But there was also the werewolves that were finishing up a little bit of dealing with Rusty and, you know, figuring out the ins and outs of how they're going to be working together and being a part of the town and all that good stuff. Rose and Alister, well, Alister did not bury Daisy. Alister kind of stood there and was like, well, is that what we're doing? Daisy was buried. Alister got into an argument with the nun because they don't really like each other. I think probably because they have similar personality types.
Yeah.
And a little bit of dick swinging.
Yeah.
You know? Nothing like dick swinging with a nun, you know?
They do have big ones.
She has a big dick.
As long as the rosary hangs.
Mm-hmm. Swing low, sweet chariot. So, that's a hymn, right? Or a song?
Yeah.
I don't know. and then Mr. Barnaby, as he was scouting the woods and making sure that the camp was safe, he awoke hungry. He was going to have some weird Jurassic Park level goat man sacrifice kind of thing.
It wasn't the prettiest.
Really reminded me of that scene from Jurassic Park, which I think was intentional. Great imagery. But then he saw Bigfoot.
That's pretty much Sasquatch,
the skunk ape of Florida. That's what we called him. He's the skunk ape. He's basically Bigfoot, but he stunk. The only real. I'm so serious. Look it up. Look up the skunk
Florida
ape.
man hunts skunk ape.
Yeah, he's a skunk ape. And they had some almost sexually charged energy. It was hot. It was very primal, you know. The shot was great, but he did not sink that battleship.
Yeah.
The
Pause
dog.
for dogs,
Yeah,
yeah.
pause for the dog.
Yeah.
Can I get back my pen?
Here, I can give you my pencil.
That works.
All right.
At least the audience at home saw an
There you
arc.
go.
Yeah, right. Just goes through every camera.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Oh.
Have we mentioned that
Can't beat
Buddy
him.
the dog is also part camel?
He's adding.
I just think he's really bad at drinking water, so just a little bit goes up at a time.
ambiance.
That's possible, yeah.
So my son is just incongruent when it comes to liquid intrument.
Yeah.
Well, they can't have everything. Thank you, bud.
3 hours later.
Thank you, bud.
So there's a lot of primal energy coming
Yeah.
between, you
Very
know,
true.
Barnaby and this Bigfoot character who ended up being Johnny Rattlesnake, I believe, right? And Sean's character almost lost himself to the snake a little bit, but now his eyes have a permanent slit, you know, in his pupils. Instead of being, you know, humanoid, they are actually more reptilian. And he briefly had some heat vision, so we'll see where that goes.
Well, if he's going to get the flaw, he might as well get the boon.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. That's what's happening. Welcome to the old dusty trail.
I like that. I like that.
Full of vampires. All right.
Full vampires. All right. Well, as you're getting settled back in, a ritual of yours and a lot of ranchers, the fence is what does your property. Huge amounts of effort are made to make it. Like an outrageous amount of time of foreign hands have to go in and drive new piles down and redo either the wire or, driftwood or cut new planks to make a proper fence. We're talking about acres and acres and acres. One of your things is, I'm going to imagine, like, at least the fence when it comes to your main entrance. Checking out those wires, looking at the nails. Seems the next time you're doing it. How do you feel coming back home? You're pretty successful.
Yeah, it feels good.
Feels good. Got to touch your touchstone.
Yeah, it's nice to be home and back where I can kick my boots off and relax
Sure. You
at the end
gotta,
of the day.
you know that you're gonna give a cow to the church. You already done that, or had you something you're gonna do personally, or?
No, it's probably something that Russell will handle.
All right, so you passed off that
Yeah,
task.
so he can spot
He's
the,
gonna
the best ones
I imagine
to
you
give
said
up, but still
not
be fair
Belle,
to
right?
the town.
Yeah, not Belle, right?
No.
Or her boyfriend. I'm invested in that relationship. So
Yeah, I mean, Kel's fuck. That's the first T-shirt.
Cow's fuck. Season 3.
There's a lot more cows than there are bulls, so
Yeah.
he wouldn't give up one of the
Fair
bulls.
enough. So you feel like that's being taken care of. As you're walking, why don't you give me a wits and awareness as a certain smell just go over you? But like,
Shit. Was it? It's always shit.
Good God.
it's a familiar smell.
Shit.
One that you don't love, but it's
Shit.
like that, like a tax collector almost coming up.
shit.
Shit.
It's a fair one. I was just doing his job.
Or just being funny.
Yeah.
Or trying.
Oh, no, there's no fair taxes.
Dirty bastard. I got nothing. I got 2 fucking ones.
You smell shit.
Yeah.
Cow shit.
So shit.
You don't have nothing?
I'm home. Smells like shit. Oh, it's delicious. Wonderful smell.
You get 0, 0, 0.
0. I had 2, but then I had 2 ones.
All right. As you
I
take
had
your
2 successes,
as
and
you
I'm
take
awesome.
your next step, have you ever braced for a headache before it hit? Like, you're about to get one.
Going to work.
Yeah, right. Fair. But you know what I
Every
mean? Like,
morning.
you're like, all right, here's where it starts, and you have that moment, and you're like, am I going to push through or whatever have you? You get that sense, that enigma, that a nauseation that like runs through your body, and you know that you weren't ready for it, and a not ally, but a liaison in between you and the natives is on your land, and you take that single step, and you almost fall through as if it was a moving piece of tactile ground. You see what you know as the ruin. It's been explained to you by your sire, actually. And you can see just the moments of burning of your entire fields. The bones of bell and horns. Like the single stag horn coming out of horns. It passes and you come back in. You'd almost feel brimstone on your skin. It's a necessary evil. Immediately
getting a
after
chill
that,
as a vampire.
yeah, right, like being plunged into cold water. You do know this as Kai. Coyote is his full name. Yeah,
Of course it is.
yeah, the natives don't like him and you don't like him, but it is a place in between places is what he does. A liaison between the two of you. You can see him, and he's just standing right where your gate opens. Never an invited guest, but you probably shouldn't turn him away.
Howdy.
Hey.
What can I do for you today?
Well, there's some problems. Like some big problems, man.
Such as?
Like, he reaches into his coat and he pulls out a stump of a leg that still seems completely healthy, and as if it was cut off from reality itself, he just throws it in front of you. You got some new friends, huh?
Where'd that come from?
Throws down, reaches back into his coat as if everything always seems to fit in there. And there is a very large, what you know as a hunting needle. They're very large pieces. They're other pieces of it. You can see it's part of, multiple tracks of different natives throughout here.
Now, what kind of leg am I looking at?
You are looking at a native leg.
Human.
It seems to be brown, human. But the cut is wrong, and the fact that it still doesn't look like it's decayed.
So why are you trying to link this back to me? Well, what's this got to do with me?
Yeah, not a whole lot of people could kill natives. You just came on train, just came over here,
Yeah, I've been on my property for about 5 minutes.
and
I was
these
gone
cuts-
for 6 weeks.
we have not seen in a long time.
Okay.
Something took the rest of the body down. Well, it's still alive. This is voodoo shit.
I'm not into magic or voodoo,
Didn't say you were.
but you're coming to me with this.
We killed all of that long time ago.
Okay.
Seems to come in with train with you.
I don't run the train. I travel on it. That's all.
You lived.
Well, yeah. I'm kind of hard to kill, too.
But you could not do this.
No.
Maybe Guy in Mansion. Maybe he could do something like this, but this does not feel like people who take life and give them themselves. This feels like people who take souls and give it to self.
Yeah, it's not what I do. Y'all have known me for a very long time.
That's why I'm here first. They don't know. Natives do not know.
So you're the only one who knows about this so far.
It was asked. He's always. You often think that he's made his position more important in the way he speaks about it, but yet he's always the liaison. You've never seen either he's gaffing or not. But to ride on horse, if this is where you guys got into the fight with the natives, no chance you would have beaten the train. And he appears to have what? Actually, why don't you give me an insight and investigation?
Don't roll a 0.
Roll a 0.
Yeah, if we could make any requests.
We don't have insight. Intelligence or resolve, wits.
Intelligence work.
That's a 3.
3. You do remember the hands coming up from Mr. Midnight and bragging down the horse and the rider. It looked pretty cut and dry, like when whatever he opened, whatever he closed was closed. 3 successes, you could see something like this being true. You could, as you're looking at it in your hand, or you just tossed it, right?
No, he tossed it on the ground.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can see like a little toe, like still alive.
Cute.
Gross.
What? Yeah, gross.
Yummy.
This little piggy.
I mean,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. What does this foot look like in detail?
Yeah.
I can do it if you want it.
Is it oiled up or?
Yeah, man. Who the hell is Mr. Midnight? I'm losing that one.
That's
Shelf?
Yeah, Mr. Shelf.
Oh, shelf. Okay.
The only time that line was ever said, again, another piece of information he shouldn't have as quick as he has it. That was only said when he was helping you guys out in the car.
Well, I can tell you this doesn't come from me, and I'm not aware of anyone who could have done this.
I just want you to know that there's no problem. You did not kill any of the
Course not.
natives here,
Of course not. I've been around for 150 years and
and
have never harmed one of your people.
he nods. And you can see him a little bit taken back by when he says his people, they're not his people. You know what I mean? Like he's just got a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
Those in the Badlands. Their fate is theirs. But if they believe you brought bad fate to them here, that'll be an issue.
Understood. They also know my lands are protected.
He smiles at the cracking foot that's almost trying to find a grip in to do something so very protected. You are Mr. Hayworth. I bring this news to you early. I cannot help it from spreading. Perhaps you have a inn in a fox yard.
Possible. There's a lot of people on that train that got off here. Well, down there.
Then Mr. Hayworth. Then Rusty. I'm glad to know that you're not part of this.
Yeah. You know it's meant, not me. But if I hear of anything,
You know when you lie to somebody and they know that you're lying about it, and there's just that understanding of like, yep, this is a lie, and this is what you get. This is the land that you're gonna land on. All right.
if I hear of anything,
He shrugs.
I'll get a hold of you.
All right. Take a step, and you see the coyote form happen immediately. He is non-bashful. They're
You're
not.
not going to take that with you?
Puts it in his mouth and
Yeah,
runs
right.
away.
Yeah.
Like a now gravelly version of it. It's like, it could not. Your land is protected. You never crossed your barrier. He leaves that twitching foot.
It's all right, I'll take care of it.
Gross.
Feed it to the pigs.
I don't want to curse no pigs.
Yeah. Fair.
Right, we'll be right back to you.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep. One. Yeah, Finn. You're talking. You wanted more things?
Well, I think first and foremost, again, I would like people to stop shitting in the street.
Oh, no. They shit in buckets, then in streets.
If we could build some outhouses, at least outside of the major buildings that we have, might cut down on that a little bit. Perhaps a couple of outhouses for the church where a lot of people tend to congregate. And then, get somebody to empty them, once a day, maybe.
It's no problem to me, but like most of my guys currently building house for her, second edition on on room.
Well, how many people do you have on your...
Well, 45.
You need 45 men to build a fucking room?
Well, we're very fast.
You don't know how complicated it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just kidding.
So
I don't
fancy.
know.
So fancy.
In fact, if you guys both take a moment to look over it, I mean, it would be within vicinity. You can see 45 guys like on a scaffolding building like
Okay,
diligently.
We're gonna start compartmentalizing this work a little bit. 3 men for the room.
Okay, Tres, no problem.
Okay. 3 solid men, 3 of your better men. Okay, that you work hard and work fast. They can help with the house. I need the rest of your men to start building things for the town, for you guys.
Like other people?
Yeah. What do you need? What do the people need?
Like
What is the most important thing that needs to get built?
water?
Okay, that's
mean,
not
agua
a
would be
building.
fantastic.
You want
I
to
mean,
build?
like-
Okay, you want to build a well? Do you know how to?
That would be a well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Okay, build some wells. Outhouses and wells.
Preferably not beside each other.
Yeah, don't for the love of God, shit in the wells.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Mr. Ayworth,
So let's see. Let's take 20.
we're
Let's take,
not like, like, I don't know if you looked, but there's like desert here. Like, where do you want the well?
Big.
I will look into that.
She just dug a hole, all right? Do you find water down there?
I wasn't purposely looking for water, but no, I didn't see any. I mean, really, worst that happens, we may find some oil, and that might help in this whole venture.
Oil's pretty deep, Rose.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
There are machines.
Do you have maps of the surrounding area?
Oh, no problem. Want to come back to my hobble?
Sure.
Yes.
But in the meanwhile, 20 guys, outhouses.
Just dig a hole, put structure, no problem. Like, and he goes and he,
Door, little privacy
yeah,
latch,
right, yeah. He goes over to obviously unfortunately his secondary is still wearing the the musician's outfit, but obviously the guy's multi-talented.
Okay. So we'll do, we'll do 5 guys on the house, 20 on the outhouses right now, 20 on retainer for the wells.
Well, that's what you want to have, eh? That's no problem.
That is what I would like, yes.
Okay. And he goes and starts to doing all that. He brings you back. Where he's going is actually the where you would assume the jail is.
Okay.
Yep. He has a little desk. The door opens. He's got a big thing of keys, circle of keys on him.
Are you coming with me, Rose, or?
I would imagine.
Okay, I just figured you were
Yeah.
tagging along here.
Yep. Are you going to send the girls anyplace else, or are they coming with you?
No, I'm going to.
Because they're by the church, right?
Yeah, I'm probably going to leave the girls to just to. I mean, they're still, I would imagine, quite upset about the Daisy situation and everything that happened there.
You're going to allow them to grieve in a more natural
just allow
time.
them to, just
You see
settle.
that Felipe is like more in tune with you. She understands the kindness you're giving the girls, and blah blah blah. She'll deal with it.
Yeah.
She almost like puts her hand over Rose, and you feel comfortable leaving them.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about it, and I feel like at this point too, Sister Joan would be looking out for them as well.
As you guys walk in, to your disgust again, Rose, looking down, you see that in this particular jail there is Italian marble that lines the bottom of the ground.
In the jail?
Oh yeah, this is one of the
You
buildings
put
he's
Italian
built.
marble in the jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
It's in the ground and it's in the jail.
Listen. Okay. Yes.
How am I supposed to tile my new addition to the house with Italian marble if he's got it used up in the jail?
You're a Tremere, right?
Yes. No. Toreador.
Toreador. That's what. Wait, which one is Toreador?
you can tell him if you want.
No, Toreador is the beauty one, right?
Well, I mean, yes.
Okay. I'm asking out of character.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I was thinking of Anna. Sorry.
Yes, you were.
Okay. I meant to say Toreador. So, you're a Toreador.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna build the foundations of this city. If you wanna stylize it, if you want that job,
When he says stylize it, you've had a couple individuals your girls has worked on that like being tied up. This is a BDS fucking playground.
What?
this is a jail.
It's a
I'm
jail, which
sorry.
would be ways that people were tied up. This was.
I'm not saying. I'm talking about like wallpaper, man.
Why do you think he spent so much time building this particular spot? This is a lot of latches, a lot of time, a lot of bad
BSM
thi-
jail. How
a lot of
exciting.
bad things that shouldn't be happening.
Yes.
There's no current inmates.
What I'm saying is, if you want to get rid of the marble and replace it, if you want to be an interior designer, you want to start building a town. I don't have the same eye for the artistic flourish.
I mean,
I can build the bones, but
Yeah, I can certainly add the muscle and the fat on there if you would like. But
just because you seem really affected by the marble.
yeah, it just
I can agree.
It's incredibly
not-
upsetting.
It's fine, I guess.
I mean, if you're going to invest in Italian marble,
okay.
Like not even slabs. They're just like
yeah, little tiles.
cobblestones. Yeah.
I just, I mean, you know, I have a lot to get together as well. Once the title for the saloon / lady of the evening building is in my hands, you know, my focus will shift.
Yeah,
I'm
well, it's gonna
happy
take
to help
time.
in the initial
Yeah.
planning.
Well,
Absolutely.
it's going to take time to build the bones, anyways. I'm just saying because you are so drastically affected by the marble.
Well, it's very upsetting.
As we're walking,
Yeah.
Yep. He sits down at a desk. He's like, yeah. So I mean, you want the allocation so he can do all this? It's like pointing at a ledger with all of his men. He knows what your current things are. Yeah. So I have to.
I need a map of.
I
I
mean-
need a map of the surrounding area that we have here.
Lays it out. You can actually see Mr. Flannelly's farm. But the outstretches is about half a night's ride.
Is there any like water systems on the outside of town, or is there any?
Oh yeah, you see a big river system coming down. The Colorado River does run through this area. Lake Mead doesn't exist at this point, so I mean, like it is a Colorado River that runs straight down. You can see a lot of the farm area. If there is any farms, they're usually right off that aggregational system. You do see some outside, so it's not just Flannery. There are some secondary. You see that Flannery is actually like driven like canals, almost irrigation systems, very Rome style. They come do his crops and that kind of stuff.
Water table should be pretty high in this
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. Why don't we have Mr. Flannery help us with the planning of this, since he's already established all of what we're trying to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the map. We'll see where the water lies and how close we can get to town while digging a 30-foot well. If we can hit like a 30-foot well, right outside of town, then we might be able, to figure this out.
You know, just before I left New York, I went to the World Fair. I don't know if that's historically accurate or not.
It is now.
They had
Hot dogs. No.
flushing toilets. You just flush it away, all your nastiness. It's going to be good for the humans.
I think she's shitting you.
I shit you not, sir.
That's a prisoner in one of the cells. She lying.
Yeah, that's that magic voodoo shit.
I ain't never heard no flushing toilet.
Yeah,
I wouldn't shit you. You're my favorite turd.
that's not God. That's ungodly.
Well, I could look into that. I'm more worried about drinking water at the moment. I don't want them to be shitting in the water.
Right.
If we have a massive excess of water, then perhaps, yes. But right now, it seems like they need... I assume you're just carrying barrels up to this river and bringing it back and rationing it out?
Oh no! I mean,
Oh my! What are you doing?
oh, for the water.
Yeah.
If you don't want to die, you go get your own water.
Okay, we need to... People need jobs, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what we're gonna...
It's
Okay.
like there's no taxes or public service, so
Do you have barrels?
at the distillery,
Waterproof barrels? Okay, so take these empty barrels. Take those 20 men. Take those empty barrels and a cart and some horses. And start filling. Bring them back. Leave them in the jail. Secure.
Well, we're going to the distiller.
They're empty.
Well, also his barrels.
Okay.
I don't know if you know how this works in Wild West. It's his. It's his. It's not yours.
Okay.
I mean, you can take it if you can't have him stop it. I can take his barrels. I have enough guys, but
How many barrels does a guy need? Truly.
Well, it depends on what he's doing.
making booze.
Well, those are very important barrels.
And you have a moment of like, my socks.
So that's how they're hydrating.
Yeah, right, yeah. Which would actually be one of the cleanest ways to hydrate during this
You
time
have
period.
a river.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, the beer and the ale and stuff was very watered down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but I mean,
was.
you're just, you're using the liquor essentially at that point to kill the stuff in the
Bad stuff in
water.
the water.
Bacteria.
But the Colorado River is
From all the
historically
cows
clean.
pissing in the river up from my
Oh, God.
Alistair's like, okay, you know what? Table that then.
I mean, if you want to do this, there's no problem.
Table
but,
it.
like, you'll need-
It's fine. You're not going to dehydrate in a day, obviously. So,
Well, 3 people died yesterday.
They weren't your bed.
yeah.
Although the Undertaker, he's good living, nice tent.
Have we met the Undertaker?
You haven't.
I'm trying to think. There has to be a reservoir you can fill with water out here.
Yes, I mean, horses need to be drank. Most liquid becomes beer and or gin or whiskey if you have money. Cheaper to make gin and vodka, but you know.
One barrel. Take one barrel, fill it with water, bring it back to the jail. Anyone's fucking dying of dehydration, give him some water. I'll figure out the rest.
Okay.
And if he has an issue about the barrel, have him talk to me.
He like gestures to his desk if you want to sit down, you can. He's got
I
his
need to go.
maps
I need
laid
to go
out.
talk to my buddy Rusty,
All right.
because he has figured this out. Who the fuck puts a town over here?
Yeah, right. As you walk out the door, you see Mr. Hayworth. And
Oh,
that
Jesus
big handshake is already there.
I think I turn around and just bump into it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you look up, and there is Shove. As you take that moment, there is a moment of absolute fear because you are not used to pictures, but you see the flash of gunpowder going off. It has a sound to it. It's audible. See a young
Don't like
kid.
it.
Yeah, right. You see a young kid get out from underneath it, put the black down so the piece of film can actually develop.
What the fuck is happening right now, Rose?
Would you like me to accidentally knock that over?
What is happening?
You're just stuck in a handshake with Mr. Haywood.
Yes, Mr. Shuff. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Young kid goes. It's interesting. Handshakes already. Are you the new mayor
Who is? Yes.
the people of the last stop want to know? And he's got a little note pen and everything. I'm from the Tumbleweed News.
Great.
Young kid, like 14, 15. Got big old sombrero hat, way too big for him. Like it like sits like low on his face.
I'm assuming you're literate then.
Well, I'm writing shit down, asshole.
Not yet. You're not.
Not yet. You're not.
All right. Fair enough. My name is Alister Hayworth. I arrived on the train from Boston. I am the one that has.
Can you spell Alister for me?
Alister.
If you like it.
Hayworth. Just how
I
it's
don't care
spelled.
about the last name.
So
So
you know
can you
that-
just
okay.
the underline part, just the italicized and
Okay.
Alister.
Yes. I arrived on the train. I am the
Yep.
one that has been funding.
So you're the problem of all of our misery, is what you're trying to say today, Mister.
You moved here.
I was orphaned here, sir.
Okay. I just got here, so no, I am not the responsibility of all of the things that have gone wrong. I'm here to fix what has gone wrong.
So you deny any responsibility for the lack of education, food, water, and sewage problems.
No, actually, I am currently on my first day. I am building sewage and figuring out the water problem right now.
So are you saying that your establishment was so shitty that you couldn't put the right people in place? That's why we don't have these current things?
I believe there was a misunderstanding of the division of labor, and that people, once they are allocated to the correct jobs, will thrive in this city. All it will take is a little bit of time, a collective effort, and we will be the greatest town this world has ever seen.
So if we can work harder together to make sure that you're...
Not harder. You're working hard enough. If we work together.
And you see him scratch out, why don't you give me a manipulation in politics?
Okay.
I smell a little boy about to die.
Yeah, right?
I just snap his neck.
Oh, he seems bright, though.
No, I don't.
I mean, he seems bright.
Like,
Oh, like the son you'd be proud of until he opened his mouth.
oh, okay. So not mentally bright, not like he's glowing.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, he
All right,
seems,
no, I
yeah,
just
yeah,
wanted to be
absolutely
sure,
right. No,
'cause,
There's no
you know,
angelic aspect of this.
that
You know,
stuff
what I mean?
has happened before.
He seems very human.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was 3 successes.
3 successes. All right. After he bent your narrative, I'll let you bend his narrative back. That's what we'll write down.
You know what? You seem like you understand what is happening in this city. You seem like an intelligent young man who has seen the ins and outs that unfortunately I was unaware of while I made my way over here. I am doing my best to correct these issues, and if you have any personal grievances or problems, please bring them to me so that they may be fixed.
He nods. Kind of a little bit wide-eyed, like almost hopeful.
Yeah. And for those that are literate, if you wouldn't mind writing it down for them. I understand that literacy is not as common in this part of America, but, because I will be busy, I will not be able to hold, for now, a meeting, a town meeting. But if you collect these grievances, I can get through them. Right now, I am working on the sewage and the water because, as far as I'm aware, you are being fed. Mr. Flannery has brought full heads of cattle, so we've figured that out. The next step is to build appropriate lodging for the men, women, and children, and the hard workers here. But first and foremost, you people need water, and that's what I'm worried about. I heard that 3 people died.
He snaps his finger a couple times. You see a much less well-fed, but like another one, maybe like 4 years younger. One part of the other kid that shows up, he's obviously another orphan. Like part of the top of the boot is gone. You see that like he is still wearing a sock, but like two toes are sticking out. He whispers down, and you're gonna get like a live tweet essentially, like a town cry of like new management in town. He has the
Under
bell,
new management, just a still sign.
Yeah, like schools incoming, shit removed, like water in down. He goes, Mr. Flannery, it's gonna be good.
I get on a knee, so I'm like eye level with him. And I go.
There's no fear. It's
Yeah.
it's actually shocking. Like
I can't claim responsibility for the things that I was unaware of, but I will claim responsibility for the things here on out.
snaps his finger again, and the bell stops, and the kid runs. New sheriff in town. Like, ding, 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 ding. Things are gonna change. You know what I mean?
Not a
Like,
sheriff. I actually got an idea for somebody else.
The kid's gone. Thank you for your time, Mr. Flannery. Thank
And
Mr.
what
Hayward.
was your name again?
Oh, Cowboy.
Okay. On the nose. Love it.
Yeah, right. You see him walk away. His shoes are too big. You can hear it's not the steady thing of like spurs on a cowboy. He's obviously wearing shoes that are flop. They don't make quite the same sound. Mm-hmm. The shirt he's wearing is definitely a man's shirt and it doesn't really fit him well. Actually, why don't you give me a? You can look at him if you want. So intelligence and investigation.
1 success.
You can see him taking care of himself without ever being told how to take care of himself. He's 14 years old, and you can see little nicks on his cheek where he's been trying to cultivate this little shitty mustache that he has, and like shave everything else up. But no one ever taught him how to shave. Yeah. But he's trying. Yeah. Like you see, everything possible to try to look like an adult.
I straighten up, he reminds me of myself when I was that age.
I kind of had that impression. He may be someone to get on our side.
Oh, that was the hope. Yes. Let me just say, I've had worse interviews than that.
Yeah, he's walking off. He's making his, what you do notice though, it's not just that one orphan boy that had the thing, like he actually hands it off as if it's going to be printed.
It's an enterprising group of young people.
Well, it's nice to see that there's a level of technology and decorum
I can
out here.
almost see you taking them under your wing. A venture,
I never was a huge fan of children, but
a venture in this Wild West
I
is
can
a
admire
venture
the fighting
nonetheless.
spirit, yes. Mr. Shove, I do apologize for that.
No problem. I don't like to be in the press, but looks like you're infested one way or another.
So I assumed, I had already assumed that was going to happen at a larger level, but looking around, that was more intimate in a... What can I do for you? What brings you to my Italian marble prison?
We happen to have ourselves an agreement. My train in your time about to leave it. And I figured that maybe you wanted to be privy to making sure no one else can screw with an argument you didn't have enough time to look over the fine print of.
Would you like to do that now?
Well, we only have tomorrow night
Okay.
before this train leaves forever. And I will tell you something. This is not a threat. But if I leave on that train, I'll be coming back here eventually. And we did have a agreement.
I'm a man of my word, Mr. Shove. If you have an idea, let's hash it out. Rose, if you would like to be a part of this, you're more than welcome. If not, you've got your own things to deal with. But I'm not going to say this isn't a wildly borderline stupid idea.
Well, it sounds also like it could be borderline personal as well.
It is.
Yes, and I don't know that our relationship at this point is ready for us to become so intimate with each other. So I will take my leave, and you gentlemen can go about your business.
That works for me.
Reds his hands, it's the size of them. Fucking hams. You know what I mean? Just very large. Look, guess it's just you and me, Mr. Hayworth.
Well, I have one more person in mind.
Cut to, I'm going to guess, in the fountain in front of your mansion. There's Pierre de Pouf.
That's the one.
Yeah, right. He is currently in his skivvies, enjoying the mist. He's brought one of the guys out, convinced him somehow to fan him, eating some grapes in the nice, cool moonlight.
Well, let's go find this Mr. Pierre.
All right, you guys walk off, and we'll be right back to you. Where are you headed?
I was gonna go there to talk to the super creepy dude.
Okay, well, I'll walk you there.
As you guys are
Mr.
walking.
Grand.
It's fine. We'll be right over to that part. If you guys are going together, then we're not.
It's like that
Try.
awkward. It's that awkward
Yeah,
see you
right.
later, and then you both walk in the same direction.
Yeah, we're like, oh,
Yeah,
God.
right.
Okay.
Should I? Should I not? You know.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
All right. Yeah, you do see Pierre de Pouf. His moment. He's like, when you're in a pool, and every person's done this in their ever life, so don't think I'm weird. You spit up in the air, and it like comes down on you. Like you make your own fountain, as a kid does.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, we've all done this one stupid thing that's actually pretty gross. But
Chandler does it in the opening scene of Friends.
Yes, that thing that he does. Exactly.
And then he looks for
Dun,
validation.
dun, 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 dun. Actually fine. Chandler looks like Pierre looks like Chandler. That works out fine.
No.
No. Yeah, all right, fair.
I thought he looked more like
Could I be any get better
Gaston.
looking?
I was getting Gaston
Fair enough.
vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's originally made after Castlevania. What's his name?
Yes.
So Castlevania.
Beaumont.
Beaumont.
So Beaumont meets Gaston.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beauty. So I mean, he's.
Boston.
I mean, perfect. I mean, being a toreador, Rose, it's hard. It's
It is
hard to say.
Hard to look away.
Yeah, I mean, he's got scars in even the right spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's battle torn, and you can see stab wounds and acid
he
burns.
looks like a Baki character.
Yeah, he does. He does. With a very dangerous eye, the same kind of feel. Like if you could ever see
The shing.
that little bit of
Yeah.
red and behind of just potential that is not currently being used.
Right.
Yeah, but he's sitting in somehow he procured grapes All of his belongings are neatly stacked, but he is currently in the skivvies on a very inappropriate fountain, enjoying the warm midnight of a Vegas evening.
Monsieur Poof, it looks like you have made yourself quite comfortable.
I do still not have a bed, but this will do. I have not showered for a couple of days, and I figured, hey, I look a little bit like a bird, so I might as well bath the same way.
I was going to say something, but thought it was impolite to do so. Enjoy your evening. I'm heading inside.
Hey, you've taken away one of the women of night. Bit lonely.
She is acclimatizing some new girls. So she should be, to put it crassly, back in rotation over the next couple of nights. I'm sure you gentlemen can have everything in hand until then.
I don't know what else you want to say what I was doing on the train, but okay.
If you thought she looked good before, you're in for a sweet, delicious surprise.
Okay. There's like a little bit of disappointment.
However, how would you like to take that pent-up hormones and set it towards a life-endangering task?
Who do you need me to kill?
Possibly nobody, but
Possibly everybody.
if it goes south, possibly a couple of people. You know the train we came in on?
No, I've forgotten it. Yes,
You're
I
aware-
know what you're speaking about.
You're
yes.
aware of the strange dealings that happened on that train. Are you aware of the conductor?
Yes, it's been quite a long time since I've seen a manipulator of time, but yes.
Well, we're going to steal his little black book. I thought you might be interested.
You want to say it to me again, but more on a softer thought. You want to do what?
I get in real close into his ear. Just like, we're going to take what's most precious to him. I kiss him on the neck. No. No.
Well, kiss him on the cheek. It's French, you know.
Yeah,
I will not have another Lawrence.
Kiss him on both
okay.
cheeks.
Okay. So,
For personal gain, Mr. Shove here is currently, how do you say, eternally employed.
so we get to have Mr. Shove up on our times. He's going to be friendly.
An upstanding citizen of this fantastic new town we're building.
And you're telling me that I get to be part of the reason that he likes it here?
Yes, he will be a great protector. A killer of monsters in a way. I think you'd get quite along. You might even be roommates.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this guy like I slap him on the chest.
Yeah, right. He stands straight up, and as you're walking in, you do get that glisten, like when a guy gets out of the water, that's supposed to be the guy that gets out of the water for that exact shot.
I got you.
Like, there really is a standoff of...
And then there's like Alister, who's like a little bit taller but way skinnier.
Yeah.
And well dressed.
Right.
Two very conflicting skill sets. You know, as the water beads down, you do see one single thing of sweat coming out of the... You haven't seen Mr. Shove sweat once, but there's a moment.
Gentlemen, I feel like there'd be a fantastic opportunity for real friendship and even a little bit of competition.
You got Fabio and Terry Crews.
Pretty much.
Fabio at his.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Right,
say, I was gonna say
yeah.
Arnold.
Not anymore.
I was gonna say Arnold and Terry Crews.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I mean, both are made for battle. Both are in their prime.
Or like Rambo.
Very-
Rambo
yeah,
Terry Crews.
There we go. Kind of a feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's two people that would normally be fighting or finding some very common ground.
There are bigger monsters out here, and I don't think either one of you are the monster you're looking for.
So do we, well, I got a question for you.
Yes.
And both of you, actually, honestly. If we kill the conductor, won't we starve and there'll be no more throne? Like, he's the only one that's been able to go back and forth.
We're hoping that we don't have to kill him. We just have to get the book.
Leisure.
Yes. We can take our names out of it, then, we're free. I mean, technically, I owe a lot less than Mr. Shove here, and my contract is basically completed, I'm pretty sure. But
He looks to Shove. So how did he get you? Pulls down his vest. The bright, actually slightly tarnished now, not as white as you've seen it. And it's just molars, like big, like that last wisdom tooth with the big caps and the prongs at the end of it. See, I'd like to put some people that have been working for me for too long for no reason to rest. Hurts me and pains me that they've been doing so much for so long, but if I can't get rid of the book, I can't lose any more time. It's the only thing necessary. And to be honest, I think we all owe a little bit to Chip.
I agree. Good guy.
So if you want to get in, he's probably the most trusted on the train.
And you know your way around the interior.
Yes, but my boys not going to be able to help, unfortunately.
I don't need them, I need you.
Where do you think my power comes, Mr. Hayworth? Comes from the boys.
I do the E.T. finger. No, Well, you'll have it until you don't, right?
I will. I can use them.
Well,
Successful. I'm still going to be on that train, and I'll lose whatever leverage I got left on that son of a bitch.
then failure's not an option.
It's not if you want to survive next time I'm coming in, because I will not be the same man that stands in front of you. This vest will be black instead of tarnished.
I don't fully understand the threat, but I understand the meaning behind it. Okay.
You do see that, like, that Pierre stands in front of you and him. He takes a step. His hands are not by his guns or not by the multiple weapons you know he has, but he does take a step in between. That was a threat.
Mm-hmm. Now, Pierre, I could use your help, but if you don't think that you're up for it, if this is too much for you, I'm kind of poking at it, you know?
Yeah, right, yeah. My family could not disown me again, so I can do this for you.
Then let's get started.
As you guys go to start making, where do you want to make this plan? You want to go back to the...
Yeah, I want to do two things. I want to find a place where we can quietly, figure this out.
You feel like your office is not being eavesdropped on, even though you have slaves. You feel like they've been specifically...
Okay, yeah, we can do that. And then my other thing is, before we go out on this, I'm just letting you know, before we go on this, I'm going to ask the Lady of Flowers for a boon.
All right.
So that's going to be a part of my plan, is I'm going to ask for her blessing, so to speak. But yeah, we can go up to my office and hash this out.
As you say that, are you mentioning this to the two guys?
Just the office part so far.
But not going to Lady of Flowers.
I'm going to mention it later.
Okay. Yep, no problem. Makes sense. All right.
I walk in and just so much construction happening.
Yeah, you hear the three guys still working hard.
I think it's 5 now. I think
Is it 5?
Yeah,
All right.
5 and then 20 and then 20. He said 45.
All right.
It's
So-
like 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's hammering, and
The,
sawing and everything.
the denizens are used to this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's hard to work in the heat. You
Work
know,
doesn't
whatever.
stop just because the
right.
sun went
Yeah,
down.
right.
Bro, has a little hard hat on.
Yeah, right. As
No, I want it rounded. The doorway is rounded.
Right.
Yes.
we'll be right back for that. All right, you're sitting there with a foot.
You're sitting there with a foot.
I'm gonna walk back to the house and grab a blanket, pick the foot up. I
You don't want to touch it.
don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
It's just a little off.
You think about Mr. Shove and what he did. You have that moment of those hands coming up and catching that horse. And they're like almost ashes, like if it was nothing but brick charcoal, like every single scale of a human. And that burn that was coming through it. The way he picked up one of his guys and just let it take the arrows and then just horse somebody with his dead body. And that, when it came through, now looking at it, you can almost remember that foot getting cut off before it was dragged to wherever the hell it was being dragged to.
Could have been hell. Who knows?
Yeah. You know you have some time before the natives figure out about this. That was way too quick. You know?
I'm going to go back into the house and talk to her name, Miss Thistle.
Thistle, yeah, she's actually she's at your shop. You got a guy that's like, hey, we need a new barn or we need this fixed. What do you like that guy's name to be? He's just like a handyman, not magical or mystical in any way, shape, or form. Just a good guy.
Tim.
Tim. All right.
Cool, man.
No, it's got to be on theme. It's got to be like Rivet or.
I was gonna suggest Johnny Hammer myself.
All
But
right.
Well, we already
Too
have
many
one
Johnnies.
Johnny.
yeah, it's a lot of Johnny.
Hank
Tim
Hammer.
Toolman.
You
Hank
want
Hammer,
you
that's
want to
good.
call him Tim Toolman? That's perfect. Oh.
What about just
All right.
Tim Tool?
Tim Tool.
Yeah, Tim Tool.
All right.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Now that's compromise, baby.
Well, shit. Good to see you again, Mr. Flatterly. What can I do for you today?
That's Tim.
Yeah.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing quite well. We just worked on trying to get a better way to get some of the sewages out from your house. And we think we got through a breakthrough.
You cannot tell me this man is not secretly a moonshiner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's...
Like, he's got a bathtub that he doesn't bathe in. You know what I'm saying?
I will let you know. He is, and you would know this, he's an art... If you're in the D&D world, to be an artificer, you know. what I mean?
Artificer? Yeah.
Well, you can say it both ways.
Artificer,
yeah. I mean,
artificer,
like,
yeah.
Yep. So,
A moonshiner.
Yeah, right. He figures shit out.
Right.
He's spitting on it and screw it in and figure out if it works candle wax if nothing else does.
That's that fire water.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That's because there's no duct tape yet.
yeah. No, but he may be the inventors.
Actually,
I invented this
I'm
long,
here to see Miss
sticky-
Thistle. And I've just got this blanket wrapped up under my arm.
Yeah, right. It just twitches. Guess if you had brought in a beaver and it's like in a fucking. Yeah, Thistle is there. She's she's trying to get things to make a small homestand, like really like trying to make 2 tents essentially, a place to clean themselves and a place to sleep.
So I'd approach her. Miss Thistle, can I talk to you outside, please?
Hey there, yeah. What you got?
Let's step outside. It's a kind of a private matter.
All right. She comes on it.
So we step
She
outside.
starts picking between one of her 4 teeth.
Let's see.
So much space.
You know,
Oh yeah, she's like essentially rubbing her gums with
Yeah.
her thumb, you know.
hey, I've done that.
God love her. God love her.
So
Teeth in an adult.
you know, I'm friends with the natives, the locals around here. I've been friends with them for a long time.
Yeah, my boss said that you were friendlies. I mean,
Yeah, well,
he's been here for a bit, and all
one
he
of them
said
came
is
to
they
see
got
me
around.
tonight.
Oh shit, we
And
getting
he brought
invaded or?
this, and I unwrap it.
She takes a big. She like doesn't get afraid of it. She takes a big whiff of it.
You recognize that?
Well,
You
that's
were there.
Well, there's only a few things in the world that could do that, and I'm gonna guess that's Chubb's handiwork.
Well, they came to me with this as, I guess, kind of a warning.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I was with the Red Talons, bring in other tribes to hunt down the thing that killed that this way, that's only using powers from other people's souls. But we got here, and I was there when Mr. Shove did it. So would I rather deal with the sin in my heart about watching something so brutal happen, but I do believe he was also being brutalized, or should I accept it as someone that couldn't do nothing about the situation? we're here because of what he did. Shit.
Certainly, that's why I wanted to. This isn't accusatory in any way or anything. This is more of a just an exchange of information, just to let you know what's going on. I'm trying to be transparent with you so you can understand what may happen.
You gave me my Bo piece of land, and we ain't loved by almost nobody. We ain't supposed to be familiar the way that me and Bo is. Two different species and all. But, I mean, if the native population gets hold of this and understands someone that moved into their area that's quite as powerful as what I saw Shove can do, I can tell you, at least from my interactions of them when I was a cub, things I was taught when I was younger, it probably ain't going to be the nicest reception.
No, I don't see that. The only boon I think we have out of this is he left this with me. He didn't take it with him to show. Well,
Who?
Well, he says that he hasn't told the other side about this yet. That they don't know. He came to me first as a.
Who's this he?
Well, I don't think you would know him since you're not from here.
He got here faster than pig shit. I mean, he got here right after the train. That's not. They ain't no werewolf bullshit.
No, he's different. He's kind of a skinwalker, but I'm not sure exactly what all he is. I know he can transform.
What's he transform into?
Coyote.
Oh shit! You got a moonwalker?
Seems that way.
Fuck it. Yeah, they're like rats. Infest and eat, take advantages. I thought more highly of you, Mr. Flannelly.
Well, he's the one who transfers information between.
Oh yeah, they're slick as shit.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Fucking
That's why I'm surprised he
Walker,
left this
son
with
of
me.
a bitch, ain't even worth shitting it down your own. Oh, she just starts cursing out of the thing. Obviously, there's a problem.
Goddamn moonwalkers.
Yeah, right.
Lord.
Like, yeah, right. She is not
Goodness
thrilled.
gracious.
Armstrong, Aldrin,
Yeah,
fuck
right.
'em all.
Buzz, motherfucker.
Son of a
Yeah, you
bitch.
son of a bitch. All
Putting
right,
your
yeah,
feet
right,
all over
yeah.
hallowed grounds.
Yeah, right. Like,
To orbit and beyond.
yeah, right. If she was wearing a skirt, not trousers, she'd probably sit down and take a shit right now. Like, she'd just be like, ah, man.
I've been
what?"
so mad you took a shit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah.
Then you know how mad she is.
yeah.
I'm so mad I'm going to go shit about it.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm just gonna go scream shit.
yeah.
That was
Take
fun.
off all my clothes.
Sorry.
All right. She goes, all right. Well, I know that the natives have a uneasy truth with the coyotes. So do we's, but ain't never nothing good ever happened with dealing with them. The information's always true, but there's always a secondary aspect of it that you never saw fucking happening. So, I mean, he ain't lying to you. If he brought this to you first, that means he wants you to do something probably in his interest, but you do add the information first.
Right. So what I was thinking is I'm going to take this thing back down to town and talk to Mr. Shove directly about this because he's the one they're going to be looking for.
Oh, yeah, they ain't going to be happy at all. I mean, like, well, isn't he just getting back on that train?
Not till tomorrow night.
Maybe you don't have to do nothing at all, Mr. Flannelly. As long as he doesn't stay here, he ain't got no problems.
Yeah. But
They're all buttoned up.
they don't know who it is yet. So they may come looking to tear things up until they can find out who it is.
Well,
they know it's not me.
Well, I can tell you. Nave's got a nose on him. They can sniff out something that dark. I think the best thing that you can have is him just keep on that train leaving. You got, you can say that he was working for the conductor, and there'll be no problem. As long as he doesn't stay here.
You know, there's a chance of something happening, he does stay here, then we're all in deep shit. Because we all look like conspirators.
She like looks at like her very meager things she's taken from your like 5 sticks and a piece of like sail material. You know what I mean? Like she already has all of her furs like strapped to her back and everything.
Meanwhile, the printing press.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
Just it's gonna be good.
Yeah, right.
Newsletter.
It's almost
It's
like
mostly
I've
just
written
it's
it.
mostly just the picture because they're illiterate, but you know they
Yeah,
get
right.
the gist. They know the big words.
Yeah, if you want-
sheriff.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I don't want you riding alone, and I think specimen prime A farmhand that you got. I think he needs to deal with your cattle. So how about I just come down with you?
All right. I appreciate the company.
You see her do that like guy flex thing, you know, when we crack our backs and like cock our arms ready to go to war. She'll spit and kill a rattlesnake. So yep, she's lined up. She's ready to go.
Cocking the guns.
Yep, she's ready to go. Do you guys get on your horses, start headed back in? Sorry, I don't usually have my
Your clock, yeah, no, it's 2:37.
perfect. We'll take our first break there.
Yeah.
I guess we'll come right back.
All right.
No big deal.
All right. While we wait for Robbie to take his seat so we can jump back into the story, I do want to say a thank you to everyone who has hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. So a big thank you to that for that. And for those of you, I should say, on TikTok, big thanks. We just this week, for some reason, I don't know, we just hit the algorithm right. We've got a bunch of new followers this week. So
Hooray.
yeah, so big thank you. I know it's been quiet, but we're getting back to things being fully launched here in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. So yeah, that's it. So just thank you.
Jumping on right back in. As you walk in, the first thing that you notice, Rose, is just how much cooler it is in this place.
Right.
It's nice. Like,
All that air circulation.
yeah. You're looking at a dump. And the moment you get through the threshold, like, reminds you of the best parts of the Camarilla.
Sure, yeah.
Minus the marble.
Right.
Walking up, are you trying to go find Grand, or
Yeah, I would be looking for Grand.
you know where his office is?
Okay.
As you walk up the haunting stairs, it's a cavernous idea of it. It's so large, everything's high ceilings. You can hear your feet just click, 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 click as you go back up. Always the constant sound of
So
fans.
ostentatious. I love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Big door in front of you.
I'll give a knock. Mr. Grand.
Enter.
Oh, I'll walk in.
At his desk.
Mr. Grand, I was wondering if we could have a conversation. Student to teacher.
I always prefer a woman that knows her place. Yes. What can I do for you?
Well, you see, you are in possession of a certain type of skill that I would myself like to be able to perform and develop in my own way. And no one is doubting your expertise, which is why I've come to see if you would prefer to be a teacher.
You want to learn the true art.
Yes.
A toreador that wants to craft the flesh.
Of course.
That is interesting.
Well, it's simply, at this point...
Most of your kind just appreciate my art, not willing to soil their fingers.
Oh, it's not about soiling the fingers. A sculptor doesn't worry about becoming dusty as he chips away stone.
Well said. Well said.
In the background, you just see Alister like sneaking in with his friends, like a slumber party. Just like, shh, dad's awake.
Yes, yeah.
And he's super creepy.
Right.
Well, where would you like to begin?
Oh, well, I'm sure that there are a number of ways that is there a manual that we start from? I'm quite good at sight reading and memorization. And then I assume we get into the practical work.
Well, as all good students, I need to see your work. You begin on yourself. He gestures to your hand. I can teach you how to split the flesh of an individual. But you need to know what it feels like to manipulate someone else's flesh.
I suppose that's fair.
So if you're willing to go through the pain, to find your art, we will begin with you.
Very well.
Walks over to you and I can almost see you wearing gloves at this, He undoes, finger by finger, starting at the pinky and just taking small inches out, looking into your eyes with seeing if your resolve is being changed at all. He'll look at your pointer finger and begin a split. Please make a... Be hard. If you're trying to act like it doesn't hurt, it'd be performance and
Okay.
composure. If you're trying to flex and it doesn't hurt and it's worth it, then it's persuasion and composure.
My choice.
Yep, it hurts. It just depends on which way you want to.
Okay. 4.
All right. Which one did you use? I guess I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't know. It's as if someone had just cut the tip of your finger with a chef knife, like clean. You know, I mean, you can see droplets of blood coming from both sides. Like he stops his work and he takes your hand, puts it over his finger as he begins splitting your digit across the center.
Right.
You start to get a rush, like almost like an understanding through his hand of what he's asking the body to do.
Right. Okay.
It gets to that first part of just not the flesh, and it gets to the bone. He like looks up to you expectantly. He's like, you have to drag it. If you want to know.
Have the what? I'm sorry?
Drag the finger deeper.
Drag the finger deeper. Well, it appears that you are at bone.
You want to move the flesh.
Yes.
Scaffoldings underneath every building.
So bones need to come out.
Or be convinced to no longer be singular. Like you're looking at just like your finger as if it was flayed.
Yeah.
Like, and he stopped. And essentially, what he's asking, if you want to learn more, you're going to have to pull his. He's going to do the effect, but you're going to have to be the one essentially pulling the knife
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. No problem. Rose can do that.
as you push through. Give me the same roll. Now you're at 7s.
Okay. One.
1 is a success. So you grin and bear. You're not able to stoically do it anymore. But like as you
It
grimace.
seemed like my fangs have dropped.
Yeah,
and stuff.
right. Yeah, like as you start to push through, you see the bone, and you figured it would shatter or break. You've broken bones before; they're almost flimsy when you get down to its main pieces, like a chicken bone, like you know, splinters. Like this comes off as if it was like a laser in our days. Like it seems to just cut strictly through, and gets to your first joint. How would this be useful for you? Can you try to move the tips of those fingers that is now split independently? You know, look at it. You just hold them there. The pain is excruciating. Give me the same. Depends on which one you rolled the first time. You have to stay with that. You don't have to tell me what you're using, but
Yeah, I've used the same roll.
you need at least 1 8.
An 8? Okay. Four successes.
All right. Like a snake's tongue, 2 little flicks at the end, you're able to move one independently from the other. It's almost like like he's stitching in new pieces, new filaments, new.
Alistair doesn't know why he's nauseous, but he's nauseous.
Right.
Something he's like,
Leah's not right.
something's incorrect.
One goes up and one goes down, as if you're pretending that your fingers are walking if you had 2 of them. But you can feel the manipulation just on that one piece. Like now you could almost use it like a pincer.
Yeah.
He heals it, so no blood stops leaking, and the pain goes away.
Fascinating.
Puts the glove back on. Was a chance you have the gift, or the appreciation.
Oh, I can appreciate art.
We'll need material to start working on something like this.
I have that. I think.
You bring me the clay, show you the path.
So we are in agreement.
Yeah, he slides the glove back on to hide your now visually misformed figure.
We have an agreement. Pupil, teacher.
Yes.
Wonderful. And I will extend the hand that has the now messy finger on it out for a handshake to kind of seal the deal.
You do like a mini handshake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
He also has one, so you.
Yeah, right.
Well, you do notice his hands are gloves.
Yeah.
Or in glove.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll extend my hand.
When you shake it, you feel
Take a deal.
joints that where they shouldn't be.
Right.
Like they almost like envelop yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking like Teenage Mutant.
yeah. Well, or like more like putty itself was shaking your hand.
Right.
Something that is far too dexterous and perfect.
Imagine, if you will, a glove full of silly putty and ball bearings.
Yes.
Horrible.
It just like envelops your hand.
Yeah.
One of Rita Repulsa's creations, by far.
But when you're about to let go, you do feel like the hand forms correctly,
Right.
as if he has that much mastery of his own flesh.
Interesting. You are a fascinating man, Mr. Grant.
I believe you'll be a wonderful student.
Shall classes begin?
How's your new room?
Oh, well, as you can hear, construction has started.
But not as many hammers as should be.
Well, other things like sewage and water. It's important if we're going to keep up the guise of a town and settlement with humans in it.
It's a lot of resources.
It is, but, things must be done if we're going to feed and live properly.
If you want to learn this art, you need to let go of your compassion for the chaff.
Well,
For you will bring more pain on them. Your brain can handle.
it was shown to me a number of years ago by my sire that love and pain is a very fine line.
He nods and kind of like looks over to one of his creations, that person cranking the fan. But only after some adjustments.
I can understand the rivets, but I can't understand why they all need that. Excuse me.
That's Alister.
Yeah, right?
I wish I hadn't saw that.
Oh. Full disclosure, there's a dog under the table and he is okay.
Okay, as a. Yeah.
He's fine. He's the butt word.
He licks too much. That's why he gets
Yeah.
hairballs.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more time. What was the statement?
But could you
My
repeat
goodness.
that?
Yeah, right. I don't remember. Something about my sire.
Fine line between
Yeah,
pain,
pain
and
and
love.
love.
Oh, the rivets.
Yeah.
Why the rivets?
Yeah.
Well, I've never met a mortal that had anything good to say.
Perhaps you're listening to the wrong ones.
It takes at least, he looks at you up and down, 30 years of this life before I find any kind of comprehension of what could be to be valid. If your mentality of existence is based too closely from that little spark that we've so perfectly sniffed out, you can't be free enough to see the potential in the flesh.
See, I may not be as free as you, but I do see the potential. I see it everywhere. I see it in everyone and everything. With a few tweaks, it can be brought closer to perfection.
Exactly. What do you want to craft?
I want to craft women like me.
You want to see your own image surrounding you.
I want to take beautiful things and make them exquisite.
So you're a curator.
And I want to package them in an irresistible wrapping to get to what we need. Life force.
A castle filled with nothing but beauty.
That's it.
Marble everywhere.
Yeah, that's what he's kind of looking at. You know what I mean?
An army of beautiful bosoms and blonde hair.
He nods.
Don't you have red hair?
No.
I thought
That was the last character.
The last character.
it was still red. I thought it was like straight.
Nope.
Oh.
Blondes everywhere.
Yeah, well,
Teach their
Fuck
own.
some blondes.
Oh, I thought that was like the start of a down. I was like, Jesus.
That's a prop plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely is a prop lane. Just let it pass for a second. As he looks at you and,
Yeah.
here it is.
I can simply think of no other way to contribute to what it is we are doing here than to have, a way of coercing the humans into voluntarily giving us blood. From time to time, it will be essential. And this is the easiest way I've found to do it.
Why not just subjugate them into slavery?
Why do that when you can simply take their pants off? It's really all that I'm trying to do.
Mortals are slaves to their desires.
Per specific drives, yes.
If you find it more tasteful, as long as at the end of the day, we remove their choice.
Well, the choice is made in the beginning. Once yes is said, there's no going back. They all understand that.
He nods. He's going to go back behind his desk and bring me clay, and I will teach you how to sculpt. Enjoy your freebie.
Thank you so much. Should I call you Grand or Professor?
Sir,
Sir. Very well. Enjoy the rest of the evening, sir. I'm off to find clay.
door closes and an audible chill. It's much cooler in that room, even though the whole mansion is chilled. It's much cooler in his.
And Rose will take off her glove and look at her now mutilated finger and just be like, what?
Yeah. I think that you're walking up the stairs is...
Oh, yeah, I was already. Yeah, I snuck in
Yeah, right.
during
Yeah,
all
right.
that.
But
Yeah.
you do walk by the door closing, and you now see two little...
And there's
little
like
pincers.
streams of blood down like the skirt of my dress.
Not even gonna touch it. No, man.
Mr. Hayworth, I put my glove back on.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
How go the plannings of the infrastructure?
We are in the midst of finalizing some plans for the evening. Probably keep those to myself for the moment, since you're not a part of such plans.
Yes, of course.
I don't want, too many details getting around.
Of course. You have to keep that away from the untrustworthy, I suppose.
No, only the people that need to hear it should hear it at the moment. But the door is unlocked, if you change your mind.
Of course.
Yep, you're going to go into your study.
Yep.
All right. You do have behind you Pierre.
You got to remember, I'm a venture. I'm a businessman.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
expecting there to be tension between
Yeah.
our two characters.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No. And it's fine because I love you, bro.
No, I know.
Yeah, all right.
But there's definitely like a venture, like if you're not in the business meeting, don't ask me about the business.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go out to prowl for the last 2 hours?
No, I know where she is.
Okay.
She's with the girls in the church, so I have to go have the conversation.
I thought you already had the conversation.
No.
Oh.
What?
Just the initial.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we leave you, I need one more roll. Manipulation and etiquette. Or insight. Insight, sorry.
Manipulation and insight. check that. Okay, that's why I'm confused. One success.
You feel comfortable that getting the girl's the right what he was asking for.
Okay.
Yep, that's the amount. One success. You got to get some clay. That's what you're going to be using. That's all you get out of it.
Okay.
Door closes behind you. You do have Pierre Le Pouf and Shove.
Alister takes off his hat, puts his cane down next to his desk, sits down. There's two nice leather chairs. There you can, have really little mini business meetings. So he sits down. Gentlemen.
Pierre Pouf is putting on, still a little bit wet from the fountain, but like he's put back on clothes and is ready to sit down.
All right, so we need to acquire this book, yes?
Yes, if you you would not want a practitioner to have your signature anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So I've been mulling this over, Mr. Shove, for the past couple of days since we mentioned this. And again, this is a personal thing for me, not just because my name is in that ledger, but because I find slavery inherently evil. Unforgivable in a sense. Don't get me wrong.
Like he looks over to like the person making the fan go around in your room.
Yeah, I know. Not a fan. Well, that's a fan, but not a personal.
You do see the person that like stifles the life. Like.
This all happened before I got here, and I plan on remedying the situation. But I can only do so much at a time. And don't get me wrong, I could care less if many people are killed, tortured, fed, broken. But it's when they are put in chains and that I tend to disagree.
So you want free-range humans?
Yes.
Kinder than I am. I can respect a little bit of resolve and dependence upon the free will of an individual.
Yeah, I look at the way that Mr. Flannery treats his cows with empathy and respect, but at the end of the day, he knows that those that need to be slaughtered will be slaughtered, But he's not malicious towards them. He does not have a hatred for them or a disdain. He respects them, and there's just a hierarchy. He is their shepherd. I will be this town's shepherd, but the people will be happy.
I can understand that, Mr. Hayworth. He pulls on his necklace again.
Sure. So, that being said, I've thought of a way to get the conductor out of his room, and hopefully that will allow you and Pierre to get the rest of the job done. Pierre, you'll be there to silence anybody that would stand in Shove's way.
Yeah. Well, if you want to take care of a person who can manipulate time, you don't just need to kill him now. You need to kill him before you've killed him and after.
Mm-hmm.
It's a messy practice. I mean, like, you need a plan that happens all at once.
What if I have a way that we don't have to kill him at all?
Well, then I'd like to hear that, because it sounds a lot easier than killing someone in the past, present, and future.
Yes, I agree. Believe it or not, I agree with that. So I would like to have a meeting with the conductor in my train car and discuss how I believe that because I bought the train car, it belongs to me.
Yeah, that's not on the itinerary. In fact, a lot of my boys are currently working on unshackling yours and Mother of Flowers' cause.
Mm-hmm. So I would like to have a conversation about getting another train car. Not actually, but when he returns to Boston, setting up another trip, essentially, for supplies. And while I'm having that conversation with him in my office, Shove, you can go in and replace the book with a regular one. You know what it looks like. I've got a library. Find the closest one. Something that would at least keep him occupied, thinking it's there until he gets out of town. Because once the train starts, it can't stop.
Well, you want me to turn a book into a red herring?
Yeah. As
All
long,
right.
as long as he thinks that there's nothing wrong with the book, he won't have it. He's resting for the next couple of days, and then he's heading out. How often does he check that? I assume he only really pulls it out when he's making a deal.
When he wants somebody else to sign his particular book. But how the hell am I going to get into a safe?
Well, you know your way in there.
I know my way in there, but that particular safe isn't just held together with manipulation of a turned dial. It's a little bit... I don't think I could crack it by myself, is what I'm trying to say.
And you think Mr. Pierre can't help you?
He goes, yeah, I've been into one or two tombs. Yeah.
Realistically, it's at this point, Mr. Shove, you have more information than I do. I am devoting as much of my ability as I can, but if you can't open the safe and you have to get back on that train, well, that's on you. I never claimed to be a safecracker.
With the...
Just a dangerous one.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
With the help of Chip, knows most of the things that goes on in there.
He wants his name out of there as much as anybody else.
Oh,
The three of you versus one lock?
We'll need a big enough distraction.
Well, I mean, it takes time to draw up a ledger for another transaction of this sort. So, and I've already paid in full the first time, so he has no reason to believe that I wouldn't when he gets to Boston.
If you can keep him tied to your desk, I believe that me and Chip could ditch as he's already heading back. He'd be in his time slip then. But we'd need an awful lot of luck to pull something off like that.
We would. And I think I know where to find it.
All right. We'll be right back to you as you're going to your next piece, feeling like two guys are...
Like that's the only plan I can come up with, but I think it's
It's a good
decent.
plan. It's a good plan. All right. You're riding down. Your person horse is pretty fast because you're going to be in the open.
Yeah. We don't want to take our time getting down there.
I almost see you guys taking like 4 horses, 2 and 2. In fact, where we're picking you up is you guys tying off your second horse, making sure that there's grass and water close enough to feed on. Feeling comfortable about dropping your first horse as you're, trying to double up the speed essentially so you can just ride. Thistle's like, well, anything we need to discuss before we get there?
I don't think so. I think I just need to find Mr. Shove, let him know what's going on, maybe our other friends, make them aware of what the situation could potentially become.
All right. Well, just letting you know, I immediately like that Pierre Poof. I don't really have anything else to do with the rest of your friends.
That's fine. You and I have an accord.
Yes, we do. You're giving us shelter, and that's kind of what it all should line up with.
So if you want to have the conversation with Mr. Poof,
What exactly are we trying to make happen?
I want to make them aware of what the current situation is and what it could become.
So we're not trying to put Mr. Shove in any kind of like jail or anything like that. We're just trying to...
No, I don't see any need for that.
So just sending out the news.
Yeah, I make them aware so that Mr. Shove will have just the desire to leave, that other people will have the desire for him to leave as well. But I don't want to see any harm come to him. He was good to us. He helped us out. He got us here.
So we want Mr. Shove to go back on the train.
Yeah,
All right. I think we can do that.
I think that's the plan. And I've got this as evidence for anyone else I come across.
She takes a big swig out of her her water sack and goes up. You can see a little bit of like light leave her hand and into the horse that you're currently riding. It like neighs up, and like the hair is a little bit less sweat on the body, less lather. Second one that you haven't, you feel like she's imparted something onto the horse. She does the same thing to hers, and you guys take off. In the nighttime, you can see little horseshoes kicking up small little specks of light as they continue to run down. All right, be right back for you as you're coming in closer to town. Where are you at?
I am headed to the church where I assume all of the girls are, including the lady who I gave the evening off of work.
Yep.
Unceremoniously. By the way, you don't work tonight. Congratulations.
Why don't you go on a date to risk that off?
Yeah. She's playing jacks with one of the kids in the church.
It's her kid.
Very possibly. I mean,
I will go over to her and I will say, I am terribly sorry, but in my hurry to get things settled here, I forgot to ask your name when we last spoke.
oh, it's Linda.
Linda. Okay. Linda, how would you like to be known as Lily?
Well, just my grandmother called me that.
Yeah, well, maybe something that we talk about. See, Linda, it is hard work what you do, isn't it?
Well, I just lay there a lot of the time, but yeah.
Then put their hands on you.
Yeah. I mean, what, you want me to say I wanted to be a whore?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all. Sorry, Buddy is itching and it's shaking my whole chair. But come on. Sorry. Okay. No, I'm sorry, I lost it.
What you want me to do? Tell you that it's hard to be a whore?
Oh no, I know about the work. I arrive in town and I'm in a position to offer you something a bit more than what you currently have.
I don't know if you looked out this window, but they ain't a whole lot to offer anyone.
There is going to be. I have met perhaps 3 men in my life who have the same type of drive for achievement as Mr. Alister does. And I believe that he is going to accomplish all of the things in this town that need to be done. Part of accomplishing those things is designating a building as an establishment where the folks working on the railway and let's hope at some point folks who come to visit the town can let off a bit of steam.
I like what you're putting down. I only got one restriction she like points out the window of the church. Like, Mr. Grant has tried to make me work for him for a bunch of times, and I just there's something. I don't care doing the dirty deed with whoever says it has enough money to do it. But I don't think I could be convinced to go work in that particular place.
Oh, I'm not asking you to work in that particular place.
Have you seen the fountain?
I have.
I mean, that is a woman pissing in another man's mouth.
Yeah.
And even I have standards.
I mean, you know,
Weirdly, Pierre did not mind that.
He did not at all.
did not at all, yeah. No, I do think that
He's had his time in Belgium.
as we know, there are all manner of things that, well, that's a conversation for a different time. But the conversation that I want to have with you this evening is one about potential, one about business, one about change, dramatic change.
Well, all right. Right here. Why don't you?
Give me just a quick second.
Okay.
I just want to have a look at something really quickly. I'm sorry.
As she's looking, you're driving into town. You see a still wet photograph. You can see like the color changing ink coming through. It's not colored ink, but when you look at oil on water, there's like that rainbow sheen to it. So you can tell that the paper's still wet. And it's a picture of Alister and Mr. Shove shaking hands in front of the jail. There's a new sheriff in town. Things are going to change. Partnerships, people out of town, like little verbs.
Out-of-towners bring hope and promise
Yeah, exactly.
to our little land.
Hope and change.
But what gives you pause is
I know that campaign.
is the picture
Hope
of,
and change?
Yep.
I remember those.
It's the picture of Alister shaking hands with Mr. Shove that is exactly what you're here to warn everybody about as you come into town. Found it?
Yes. I don't think that this works the way that I wanted it to, but it's going to work the way that I need it to.
That's very much your character.
Yeah. Okay. So, with the XP that you gave us there a couple of weeks ago, I took Lingering Kiss, and that is a free cost, and I think it is something that I will try on my new friend.
For the people at home, sorry. Well,
You should know better about
I don't blame myself on that at all.
I think you should.
That's on you.
I think you should. Lingering
So as
Kiss.
we're riding into town,
Yeah. The kiss of a vampire induces near ecstasy in the victim, but this power leaves other kisses in the dust. Victims fed upon by the user become addicted to the kiss, obsessing over it and even seeking the vampire out for repeated feedings. Mortals often become anemic, self-harm, and even die from this addiction, but vampires find it a powerful tool for cultivating a herd and empowering their favorite associates.
Is it a roll-off?
It is not. It is free.
That seems pretty powerful.
It sure does.
is.
There is a willpower
It is
test.
if you're building a herd.
A victim fed upon with this power can make a willpower test if difficulty equals the user's presence every week to resist the effects. Winning the test for 3 consecutive weeks breaks the effect as does a critical win.
So, okay, no problem. That makes really good sense.
So it's her willpower.
Yeah, which is not high. She's got grit, but not willpower. Oh,
Resolve. She's got resolve.
Oh,
What do you want me to roll?
you're still gonna win because it takes you. It takes me 3 times over a week to break it, right?
No.
3 consecutive weeks.
3 consecutive weeks.
To break it.
Yeah.
All right.
or a critical win.
You're gonna have to beat 3 to start off with.
There is no roll. I don't roll.
So what is your presence?
My presence is 2.
Okay.
So she has a chance to roll, right?
So
Because
she
she has
rolled.
3 willpower.
Right.
So she had 3 successes.
So I guess it doesn't work on her then.
I think that's considered a critical win, yeah?
Yeah.
So she needs to accumulate 2 more.
No.
No.
Oh, so she just doesn't.
doesn't
take-
work.
If it's a
Yeah, right.
critical win, which I believe
It sounds like you
I
have.
think if you match, or I think if you beat the present, or you beat the quote unquote DC, it's a critical win.
The vampire can choose to use this power or not during each feeding. The victim gains a bonus equal to half the user's presence roundup to social pools. This benefit lasts for a number of nights to the user's presence and is renewed to full duration if used again before the period. Once the benefit fades, withdrawal strikes. All actions not spent working towards acquiring a new fix receive a penalty equal to the initial bonus, including trying to resist whatever user asks of the addict. The victim fed upon with this power can make a willpower test every week to resist. Yeah, there's no roll off for it.
So it happens, and then I get to roll off against it. Is that kind of how
I guess
that
so.
works? That makes sense. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm using this.
Well, as am I. It's the first time I've tried to use it. So.
Yeah.
Addicting other vampires is possible. Mortals often become anemic. Victims fed upon.
So this is how I'll rule this, just so we can expedite this a little bit.
Whatever you would have me roll to feed,
Yeah, right. So
I think you could do.
So I think that you're going to get through this. We may change this rule later on if you do it again. I just need to do a little bit more research on that one. I'm sorry, I just never came across it before. It takes effect, but she has landed her first roll to break this.
Right.
So she already has 1 in the bank. She has 2 more, and she can do it every week.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Accumulation of 3, breaks the spell. She'll keep her willpower. She's currently entranced with you. She doesn't realize she has one.
Okay.
She just is actively every week going to get another roll that will accumulate to 3.
Okay.
That seems like its intention. I don't know. I'd have to go look at it.
Yeah.
That's one that I have intentionally avoided because it was so long when I read it that I was like,
Yeah.
no. I was like, seems interesting, but no.
Yeah, well, it's just it's too perfect for the character. So I was like,
Yeah, no, it's great.
It has to be.
No, it's a great. It seems like a great power, but I always
Yeah.
just like it's one of those like long-winded ones.
It's like if this happens, that happens. And if it's a if-then statements.
yeah, it's like a little quadratic
If then
equation
that,
of,
yeah.
of
Yeah, right.
Okay.
storytelling.
So we will revisit this.
Yep.
How it currently is going to run. You do have her underneath your spell. She is wanting more of your embrace.
Yep.
She, with the roll that's already been on the table, that'll give her her first success. Within the accumulations of 2 weeks, she'll have an additional 2 times to roll. If she continues to she only has 3 dice, so I mean, like it's most likely not going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Okay.
But I mean, I think that's the intention behind this spell.
Okay. Well, like you said, we can absolutely revisit. I just
Yeah, but for right now, she
thematically
kind of,
speaking, this is
yeah,
fine.
right, she
okay.
kind of sinks into it.
All right. And
You're
I'll.
doing this in a church, though, right?
What's that?
You're doing this in the church.
No, you.
guys-
Yeah, I guess we are.
In one of the pews.
Yeah. The confession box, if you want to get real twisted with it, but a pew is fine.
All right. Roll me this. D20.
Oh, shit.
Do you want this one instead?
No, this is fine.
Are you sure?
It's
You're
We were using the big one on
for
Monday.
positive. You're looking over 12.
over 12. 7.
Could have got a 17.
You leave feeling happy and everything out of the thing.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Well, what do you want to do?
Okay. So now
you
that
feel like no one's seen you.
okay, now that she's in this has this euphoric feeling, right? I'm going to say, would it not benefit your business to know how to do that?
I don't know what you did, but Jesus Christ, your tongue tastes like honey.
Right. So, my offer is that you come to work for me.
Teach me how to kiss like that.
I will teach you how to do that and many more things. There are other small details that we will get to as well.
Shit, I ain't worried about the small details. I just want more of that.
Once my extension is fully completed at the mansion, you will be required to move into my rooms. You will not see he whose name shall not be spoken. You will only see myself and the girls in our part of the house.
All right, mistress.
And what do you think of being blonde?
How? Hair dye wasn't like a
Yeah, no, I know.
thing during this
I was
time
waiting
period.
for her to say, I like being able to see.
Again.
She wouldn't have.
Do you mean wigs?
Yeah, right. I mean, like, yeah, do you want me to shave my head or?
Will
Again.
you wear wigs?
Again, I promise you many interesting evenings over the next few nights. But for now, I want you to understand this. You are mine. You are no one else's. You work when I say you do. And the man who lays his hand on you will lose his hand.
I mean, you have her in a rapture, so I mean, like, she's gonna go. Like,
So were we dating or
yeah, right.
So we gonna do this? Or?
what are we?
All right.
I'm
Can I
not-
wear your Letterman jacket?
I
or-
mean, maybe my ring.
Yeah.
No.
So, as you walk out from that point on, or are you leaving the church now?
I want to. Why don't you take me to your current lodgings, and let me see if I can't do something for you?
Yeah. All right. No problem. Yeah, she leads you out of the church, and she's gonna. What you don't notice is a wonderful man with a mustache that is putting together his notes behind his podium, just coming out, stands on the small, stage essentially where he gives his sermons, and just watches you walk out. Crosses himself after you leave the premise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't kill anybody in front of him.
I certainly didn't. All he saw was two ladies making out.
And the two, Mr. Alister and Mr. Rusty, you both see Rose doing some business on the side from the church.
So do I see Alister
You
and
do
Shove?
see,
And,
yep. You see, well, Shove and Pierre are on their own business right now. And you
Okay.
did walk out with them, right?
Yeah, I'm headed to the Lady of Flowers.
So I
And
call
then I'm
out
meeting up with him at the train.
Yep.
Mr. Alister.
Oh, yes, Rusty.
Yeah, as you look at this picture, you're seeing this picture for the first time. News cycle fast here.
Rusty, good evening.
Well, that's yet to be determined, but we may have a situation.
Oh, boy, if I don't know it, there seems to be always a situation in this town already.
So you remember when we was on the train and we were having the big troubles?
Oh, no, I totally forgot that.
Mr. Shove did
Sorry,
something.
I asked the same question earlier this evening.
Mr. Shove did something outside the train that I don't believe any of us would be able to do.
No, he definitely delves into a branch of magic that I am unfamiliar
You
with.
can almost smell the brimstone as he brings it back
So
up.
I bring the foot back out and I uncover it. This was brought to me at my property by someone we'll call liaison. And I was
You have
the
a human
first
foot.
to be warned.
It's
Yes.
not decomposing at all.
In
As
your
if it was-
pocket.
And it's still moving.
Okay, that's unsettling. It's not, believe it or not the most unsettling thing I've seen.
Well,
You should
yeah.
see the mansion.
But see, the thing is that this used to be one of the natives from one of the tribes that aren't far from here, and they're going to want revenge for what happened to their people on the train, especially for this.
I'm sorry. I'm at a bit of a misunderstanding here. We weren't supposed to fight them because I distinctly remember your guns firing.
Oh yeah,
So, and you've made this trip a couple of times, and you've said this could happen. So, where exactly is the retaliation? I'm not sending a camp to take out these people in their home.
No,
They
that's-
fought, they lost, and now we are past.
that's not what I'm asking for.
So
what
I'm
what
confused as to
telling
what
you
the issue is.
Their issue is with the magic that was used to do this.
Well, I took a
And the
pretty.
person who did that magic. I told him, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Well, I took a pretty nasty arrow to the arm, and it left a wound that wouldn't heal without magic. So I don't think that it's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? If they're using something and we're not.
Yeah, but at the
You
same
can tell
time,
your
there's,
liaison that if you want to fight a fair game, you better fight a fair game.
that's not how they work. They don't do fair games. They come in very, very large numbers.
And what would you
They
like
would
me to
get
do
multiple tribes together.
about this situation?
Do you know where Mr. Shove is?
I do.
Could we talk to him?
He's going to be a bit indisposed at the moment.
All right. When could we get a hold of him?
We've got some business on the train, and then he'll be very available because he's not headed back.
Fuck. Could be a problem. All right. Well, you go catch up to Miss Rose and let her know what's going on.
I will say that Mr. Shove has protected me twice now. Once on the train and once in Amarillo. He has an ability to put up barriers to prevent enemies from crossing a certain threshold. So I will not dishonor him by not repaying him a favor. And if they want to come into my town, it will be protected.
Well, if I run into Mr. Kai again, I will let him know that the town leader says that the town is protected. I told him the same about my property.
I mean, Rusty, look around you. What do you see?
Squalor?
I see murderers.
except
I see
for
prostitutes. I see thugs. I see cheats and robbers. I do not see clean, honest people. I have seen and heard why they go into that church, and it is not a firm belief in God.
Yeah, these humans have no way to defend themselves against what's coming.
Exactly. It's only a matter of time
They
before
couldn't
this.
defend themselves against just all of us.
This town is on a timer. It will not survive much longer without the proper infrastructure and the proper leadership. And you've been instrumental in keeping this town alive. And I cannot begin to enunciate the amount of respect I have for that. But if shove cannot fit in here, then what the fuck are we trying to build?
I don't know. Like I said,
Inspiration point.
I would like to. I would like to let him know what's coming.
And that's fine. But I will not abandon a man who has saved my life twice and your life once. He's one of the main reasons we made it on this trip.
Fair point. Fair point.
So, and I think he will be a very powerful ally and a very powerful enemy. So I'd rather him be an ally.
We may want to look for some more allies
I agree.
before this coming storm.
Yeah, I've seen what you've been doing with the werewolves, and I think it's a great idea.
Werewolf.
Werewolf, Thistle,
Werewolf.
well, whatever plans you have there.
Mr. Johnny is not a werewolf.
Okay.
He is something far beyond.
Okay, well, hope he's a friend.
Yeah, as you say that, you swear almost at the very tip of your hearing that a tree does fall in a forest. You know,
If
as
we
these
hit
beams-
somebody here,
Yeah, right, yeah.
it does make a sound.
It does make a sound.
But, if I start saying that people of a checkered past cannot live here, then there will be no town. So,
It has nothing to do with his past. It has to do with what he can do, his magic, his abilities that these people don't like.
I can appreciate
They call
that.
it dark. They don't even call us dark, but they call him dark
Well,
because of his magic.
you can tell your liaison that I can speak firsthand that they were using some otherworldly magics. So, if they wanted, again, a fair fight, they should have a fair fight. This seems to be brought upon them. If they had come in, mere humans with none of their abilities and were taken out, I can understand the rage. But to come in with supernatural powers and to be attacked with supernatural powers and to be upset about it seems like they're just looking for anger. And I will not allow that kind of hypocrisy. I will
can't
not
speak for
apologize
them.
for that.
I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but I can't speak
Trust
for
me,
them.
it fucking hurts.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
Even it's
I
not
can
a grievous,
yeah.
but like
Not
you
anymore.
can still,
Yeah, I'm still, like, I can,
Yeah, right.
I can still feel.
like you can imagine what without the mother of flowers help. What it
Yeah. I would be in torpor, most likely, for a little bit of time while I healed that wound if it wasn't for the Lady of Flowers. So that is not a normal. I've seen fights amongst kindred, and we can take a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
One arrow should not do that. So I wish you the best with your liaison and with the information you have, but
I don't know where the hell that little rat bastard went. But
I'm sure he'll show.
Yeah, you see Thistle spit.
I have to speak ill of him because Thistle's here.
Yeah, right. And Thistle's not a fan of she's given up a lot of what the pack would think.
What does Thistle think as I'm saying all of this stuff?
Thistle chose love. I don't know if you put that together, but
Yeah.
she chose to go outside of her pack, from an all-female pack, because she is a red talon, and that was a completely female area. Fell in love with a skinwalker, and a skinwalker did the same thing. Left his pride essentially, and left her pack. So they've been shunned by everything that they were told that was right and righteous.
So I think
And
so.
the only people-
Thistle probably empathizes with what I'm saying.
Yeah, the only people to ever be nice to her have been some vampires, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like all the people on the edges.
Yeah.
like those are the only ones that seem to just be okay with her falling in love with Jake. You know what I mean? Like, and Jake has a very similar take on that.
Okay. Well, I wish I could talk longer, but I have a meeting with the conductor of the train that is of the utmost importance.
Well, give him my regards. I'm going to go talk to Miss Rose now.
Absolutely. I will see you at the end of the evening.
Yep. The evening is coming close to a finish. And you realize at this point you couldn't get back to your house
No.
if you wanted, so you got to figure out some kind of. I'm sure you've had that problem before, but all right. So you're headed towards the conductor, and you're headed towards Linda's abode.
Yes.
All right. As you get closer to Linda's abode, she kind of smiles. It's actually it's a tent that a little bit bigger than everybody else. Obviously, she's making some good money in this town.
Right.
But she goes, "Oh my God!" And like, there's beautiful flowers all around it, like wildflowers. You
You
know,
have an
but
admirer, Linda.
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't have one before I left this morning.
Are these flowers like growing around?
Growing out of the ground, like wildflowers, beautiful, fragrant.
Well, let me just step ahead of you for a second. And I'm just going to, I don't know, knock on the tent.
No, you look in, and it's just you see like a couple of like what would have been traveling boxes, not like crates almost set up. And there's like a wash bin, which is nothing really more than a bucket.
Right.
Then she has like 4 like loading things with a mattress on top of it as a bed. You can see that like that's essentially it. But all the way in her room is like a little path that feels like it was carved out by almost nature to the actual part of the bed, the front of the bed. Just all these wildflowers that are growing. It's actually almost like a meadow. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And she's like, shit. Fuck, what I need you for? This is beautiful. Did you do this?
What if I did?
Then I'm going to like this partnership.
You should like this partnership.
Want to go more exploring around it, or?
Well, I mean,
Trust me, it did not look like this before.
yes. I think that I would. What would Rose do? I think she would look at just like this horrible, like situation that this woman is in, all by herself, in the West, living in muck and mud and a tent, and I think it would be even more important for her to convince the gentleman at the house to hurry up so she can get her out of here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like looked at it, and then like you're gonna bring her back. You're gonna leave her here and then go back to the.
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to her. I'm gonna say, listen, Linda, I know that the mansion on the hill is not a favorite place to be, but if you do come into that house, you would be under my protection. You wouldn't need to have anything to do with Mr. Grant.
She's kind of like flying like her fingers over the brand new flowers that are growing from the actual ground, and it smells pretty good in here. Can I sleep here tonight?
I would prefer it if you did come with me.
Well,
Until we figure out how this happened. If this, is truly, simply coincidental to my arrival, or if there is something more underhanded at work, I would like to have that figured out. I simply don't want a student of mine to be put in a uncomfortable situation.
all right. She kind of like leaves, like disappointed. And you can. That's where that role came from. That she has the one.
Right. Okay.
All right. She comes with you.
And I will just
Walk her back
grab
to
a
the.
big bundle of like wildflowers.
Oh, wonderful.
Apparently that's her thing. So
Yeah, as you walk, that's actually really sweet.
yeah.
I like that a lot. So like as you come through it. In fact, I'll let you have a roll because of that. The really cool image. Give me an intelligence and occult roll.
Plus, you're taking the fragrance with you.
Right?
She seemed like that.
And occult. So funny to not have big occult numbers.
Right?
Ugh.
On a what?
Yeah. And Esther.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2.
2 is what you were looking for. As you walk out, you do hear the slight humming, but it's rhythmic, like almost to a beat of a drum. And you do know it to be slightly magical. Something is being pushed into the ground very close to this poor woman's house.
Okay. I think that I understand. All right. And I will just keep that little piece of information to myself and continue walking and making just,
Chit chat as you walk.
yeah, just like girl talk, you know, who are your most frequent customers? Which ones are the most brutal?
Right.
You know, getting the client list and a little bit of the information.
Yep. And I will say that yeah, she's by the end of the evening, after you pump out her information, you'll have a good understanding about her information of the people around town.
Okay, perfect.
All right, Alister.
Yes.
Getting to the train. You do.
I'm assuming that the Lady of Flowers is in her train car since there are no proper buildings built.
She has had her train car put in the middle of town.
Okay, well then I would have gotten there first.
Yeah, it's you do see walking away Rose. The train car happens to be close to where they've nestled hers.
Right, just kind of give her a nod of recognition.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't afford to have too many conversations.
Bouquet of flowers in her hand as she walks past.
Mr. Hayworth?
Evening, Rose. The and is underway, so hopefully I will see you by the end of the evening, if not tomorrow.
Wonderful. We're heading back up to the house now.
Okay, give Grand my my best.
Yes, of course.
As you wave, you have a second of like the two fingers. The finger like does a little wave too, and you're like, oh, can't do that.
Kind of feel
Yeah,
it
right.
in the glove.
Yeah, right. Thank
So
God that
weird.
the gloves are on.
Yep.
And then I go to the Lady of
That
Flowers.
glove's got to be really tight on that finger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that all of Rose's gloves fit a little bit too tight, and it's an annoyance because Felipa's hands are just a little bit smaller.
Oh, how funny.
So it's
I
like an
that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun. Oh, you'll learn to fix that next time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Right. Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
A dwarf that you've seen before opens the door. You've cut off a very good friend's head in front of him before.
Good evening. I would like to have a conversation with the Lady of Flowers that I believe is of the utmost importance.
What tribute have you brought her?
I point down and my shoes are already off.
I just barefoot in the middle of town.
Yep, all
walking
right.
in all the shit.
Fair enough. That's funny enough. He looks at your dusty feet, and that will be enough that he knows that you would really not like to do that.
Yep.
So, yep. Enter.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
great.
you. And I walk in.
She's in the bathtub, stark naked, being washed by her last handmaiden.
Okay. Alistair.
She could come in.
Okay. Sorry to disturb you, but I need a favor. You're aware of the conductor's right-hand man, Mr. Shove, the one that is knowledgeable in the finer magics of
Death?
Of death, yes.
Yes, we try to stay away from those that take power from the destruction of others. I was aware of his presence before I got on the train. She's just sitting in the tub. You can't really see anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
bubbles and whatnot. But
And that mysterious, like milky white.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What is it?
What is that?
you do see fresh petals. I mean, from like wild flowers that like skim the very front of the water level.
Well, the conductor himself is a manipulator of time.
Yes, that's actually one of ours. But
Yes. However, the way he manipulates time is by enslaving other people's time and connecting it to himself. Now, this is something I disagree with at my core. Mr. Shove would like to get out of this situation, and in order to do so, I'm going to have to remove and destroy a ledger that contains the names of those that he has trapped. Now, I would never ask you to directly involve yourself with a situation that is not your problem, but if you find the cause noble enough, I could use a little luck. We don't plan on killing him, so I want you to understand we don't want to remove one of your kind, but we do want to remove a source of his power. And if he is to make another ledger and restart, well, that's on him, but currently it is my interest to remove a couple of names out of said ledger.
He gestures and like reaches into the bath, and you can see like a little bit of a tiny little soap scum on top of it. She makes a cup with her hand and goes. So bubble kind of expands. You can see the rainbow rippling around it as it kind of nestles and it pops on your nose. I see that you hold a favor for somebody else as well.
Yes.
If you'd like luck, remove the boon you own, and I shall give you mine.
The one of Mr. Barnaby.
Yes.
Well, as far as I was concerned, him helping out with the train situation with the lumber, and I've already wiped it away in my mind. I was going to tell him when he returned that we were even for taking care of that massive headache for me.
I think you misunderstand, Mr. Hayworth. To give luck, I must give bad luck to someone else.
Yes.
So, you currently have him at a disadvantage. He's not completed your task yet. I can still feel the bond. So if you'd like some luck, you are able to give it to somebody else currently.
Would you consider, and I will remove this boon, but would you take the luck from the conductor?
Oh, he's quite powerful. So am I, but I think if I tried to stand up in front of him, one of the two of us would no longer exist.
Okay, it was simply spitballing here.
He has wards, ways of keeping others of his own kind out. I could bless him without his knowledge, and a blessing could end up being a curse.
I need this to work. I need this town to work. In order for this town to work, I'm going to need Mr. Shove. So you have the cards in your hand. Whatever you need of me, let me know, because I need this to succeed.
Done. She kind of closes, and you feel this connection that you had to Barnaby close a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't see is in the forest that he's currently fighting in.
Mm-hmm.
He ducked one more time, and unfortunately didn't duck fast enough. Just got lopsided across the head by a huge arm, the essence of mankind.
Yeah.
It's sending
As
the
it
cartwheel.
as tends to happen.
Yep. He doesn't know what happened here. All he knows is his timing's a little bit off now.
Mm.
But you feel very, very confident in your next tax.
And Alister
the
stands
more-
a little straighter
Yeah.
and readjusts himself, says, thank you for your blessing, and with all luck, I will see you tomorrow to thank you again. And then he makes his way out of the train and puts his boots back on.
Yeah, right. She her head goes underneath the water. She starts blowing little bubbles as a kid would. But as she does that, you can see more and more flowers erupting in different parts of the camp. She's working on something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she took what boon you had and she used it for a different purpose. So
Sean's going to love you next week.
Well,
the more luck you need, the
Also-
more bad luck he's gonna get. So
also, Sean's contract is complete, technically.
yeah, right.
So,
Yeah. Well, he got the final end of it.
yeah.
Yep. because he hasn't done enough trees yet. But I think we're going to leave this all right there for the week. Thank you so much for joining us at Vampires and Vitae. Sorry, Sean, if you're watching. Hopefully he's like on the road going, what the fuck?
Imagine.
You know what I mean?
Bless him.
Yeah,
Barnaby's dead.
Yeah, right.
No.
Just always remember to like and subscribe and take that big bite of life.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.